If you are a weeb, which I'm guessing you are since you clicked on this video, you no doubt have heard of this site called MyAnimeList.net, which is this incredible anime database with millions of users across the globe, making it incredibly easy to find new anime to watch, keep up with seasonal anime, or find out which people have worked on which series. I just love the fact that you can look for whichever character's voice actor and instantly find out which other roles they have played in different series. I still remember the first time I thought I recognized someone's voice and decided to look it up afterwards. Words almost can't describe the joy I felt after finding out that I was actually right. Similarly, words also can't describe the extreme existential crisis I felt just a few seconds later. You know, there's just something special about being able to distinguish voice actors who speak in a completely foreign language after hearing only a few short sentences that really makes you feel like you've taken some wrong turns in life. Anyways, nowadays I actually find it quite fun to guess the voice actors for the shows I watch. Like, I'd be watching a new show when suddenly... Hold up, this is Dio from JoJo's Bizarre... Nope. It was close though. Obviously, we can't forget about the ability to keep track of all the anime you've watched. Like, there's just something incredibly satisfying about adding yet another garbage anime to your already impossibly long plan to watch list. Honestly, at this point, I'm not quite sure if I watch anime because I like watching anime, or if I just want to see that little number go up. The only thing I'm not a big fan of is the friend feature. I think it's just inherently useless and a complete waste of time since weebs don't have friends in the first place. Huh? No. I'm not projecting at all. You see, the problem with the site isn't even the site itself, but the people who use it. Every single time I open this site, I become more and more afraid of this pandemic that's going around right now. You know, this virus known as shit taste. In some extreme cases, just looking at the reviews these people put out can be enough to contract some kind of permanent brain damage. Sure, there are some actually good and insightful reviewers out there. Probably. But for the most part, you just have a bunch of people who don't actually understand the thing, talking as if they do. Take this review for Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works I found, which by the way only took me like 30 seconds to find when looking for examples of bad reviews. Currently this is the top rated review for the show, with almost 700 people saying that it was helpful. You are about to say, 8.43? How can this be? And this is scandalous. JoJo reference. Well, move closer to the screen and let Senpai explain. You know, I'm starting to think that freedom of speech might have been a mistake. Anyway, now for the actual review. For someone who likes to flex his vocabulary with big words like asinine, impervious, or macabre, he doesn't really seem to have the comprehension skills to back it up. Like, if you honestly can't figure out why Shiro doesn't seem to have a problem with dying, then maybe you should consider giving up on reviewing and going back to school. I'm not even saying that you have to like his way of thinking, or even that you have to agree with it, but if you just flat out don't understand something, then don't review it acting like you do. He then continues by criticizing the show for being constantly engaged in purposeless chatter and dawdling. Which would be a valid point if it didn't come from a guy with a Monogatari profile picture. Don't get me wrong, I love Monogatari, but that show is basically only purposeless chatter. For anyone who has seen Fate Zero, rip Saber's character. There is almost a complete loss of her original character. There's actually no way to comment on reviews, so people had to comment on his profile in order to correct his mistakes or just to call him out for having shit taste. This guy looked at the situation, took some time to think about it, and ultimately decided to abandon his account. I like how even this he couldn't help but write in some weird roundabout way. I mean, at least he's consistent. I'll give him that. Some people just need to understand that just because you were able to put together a 20-page essay doesn't mean that you actually have any idea what the fuck you're talking about. Next is a review for In Another World with my smartphone. He starts by saying it has bad art and animation, shoddy cliché characters, bad character designs, Damn, he fucking hates that shit.
It has a little something for everyone.
There are only two kinds of people. Those who are new to anime and have never given anything less than an 8, and the elitists who don't seem to like anything besides Cowboy Bebop or Evangelion. Like, dude, if the average anime you've watched is this fucking bad, then why did you watch 3,000 of them? The scoring system is just fundamentally flawed. Popular shows will always have high scores because it attracts weeblets who rate everything 10 out of 10. Not very popular anime have shit reviews because the only people who know the show even exists only ever enjoyed Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And second seasons will always have higher scores than their predecessors because the people who didn't like the first one wouldn't bother watching the sequel in the first place. The only times when this is not the case is when the sequel is just objectively worse, or the characters turned out to be significantly less gay than anticipated. It's almost impossible for anything to go higher than an 8.5, because the moment something becomes popular, people will just start shitting all over it. Only a few even come close to reaching 9 points. The only ones who did manage to reach those heights are the classics, future classics, shows that reach mainstream appeal, or all 200 iterations of Gintama. Currently, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is ranked number 1 with a score of 9.23. I don't think anything will top that anytime soon, since FMA fanboys will just start bombarding everything that even comes close to it with bad reviews. This site has fallen victim to review bombing on various occasions. Like recently, a show called Great Pretender got review bombed because it is made by Wit Studio, and people are mad that Wit Studio won't be making the final season of Attack on Titan. Which, yes, is just as stupid as it sounds. Review bombing is just such a degenerate thing to do. Like, what exactly are you trying to accomplish? Why do people care so much about the score that has nothing to do with them and holds next to zero value at all? Any feature the site uses which has some kind of user input just ends up going to shit in the long run. Just take a look at the recommendation feature. The way it is supposed to work is that you first pick one show you like and then pick a different show, saying that if you like the first one, you might like the second one based on similar merits or just having the same general feel to the shows. Instead, what happens is that you just have a bunch of people recommending seemingly random shows based on the most specific similarities they could have possibly have pulled out of their ass. Imagine this, you just finished Chunibyo and you really enjoyed it, so out of curiosity you decide to check MyAnimeList for recommendations when suddenly both have Hero Keeps a Cat.
This is exactly what I was looking for, baby!
They are both movies about war. How people's lives were in war. Yeah. If you liked Death Note, then you might like Hoshiai no Sora. Both shows are centered around death and trauma, and feature just about the same amount of tennis. Okay, that's pretty good. All in all, MyAnimeList is a great site with great potential, but is ultimately ruined by the people who use it. I think it's time for us, as a community, to do some real soul searching and start considering if your individual behavior is becoming somewhat problematic. If so, maybe it's time you start working on yourself. If you are a weeb, which I'm guessing you are, weebs don't have friends in the first place. I'm not projecting at all. And going back to school, it really makes you feel like you've taken some wrong turns in life. I'm not projecting at all. Then why did you watch 3,000 of them? I'm not quite sure if I watch anime because I like watching anime or if I just want to see that little number go up. I'm not projecting at all. Review bombing is just such a degenerate thing to do. I'm not projecting at all. But for the most part, you just have a bunch of people who don't actually understand the thing, talking as if they do. Just because you were able to put together a 20-page essay doesn't mean that you actually have any idea what the fuck you're talking about. I'm not projecting at all. I like how even this he couldn't help but write in some weird roundabout way.
It has a little something for everyone.
Step it up, people! You're making me look bad here.